Hey guys, and welcome back to your one room schoolhouse. If you are new here, my name is Mary Barfield and I'm homeschooling mom to a kindergartner and a second grader. And today, as much as I'm excited to say this, I'm also really sad. It is the final video in my Build Your Library Around the World Study Level 0 review series. We have finally completed this year-long program and we have had so much fun traversing the entire world, all 7 continents, all 5 seas and oceans. I should probably say 5 oceans. It has been a really good year-long study and the girls have taken away so much from this program. Now, I say it's our final one because we have just finished learning all about Antarctica and the Arctic, so the North and South Pole. So I'm gonna do a review not just of the final continent or region, so Antarctica, and we did the North Pole. I'm also going to give you my overall thoughts at the end of this video about the program. I'm sure that you know they're going to be overwhelmingly positive based on all the videos that I've done on this program. I'll leave that link above if you want to go check out that playlist of the previous videos that I've done. But it has been the best decision, I think, to bring this into our homeschool this year with my kindergartner and my second grader. So to start off, y'all know I always like to highlight one of the spines from the program that Emily Cook chose for it. Now, the spine I'm going to highlight right now is actually not the one listed in the updated version of Level 0. If you get the updated version, it's a different book. This is the old book. I do have the newest version, but per the Homeschool Together podcast, I actually chose to go with this book instead for art, the older one, because I actually thought it suited my kiddos a lot better with the kinds of activities and crafts you did in here. The reason Emily Cook switched this out and it's no longer the art spine is because it is no longer in production. So I was able to find this off thrift books for a very reasonably priced. I think it was maybe under $5. And I had no problem sourcing this. I think she knows that ultimately it might become a problem to source it. So for her customers like us, she just tries to make it as easy as possible. I think she replaced it, and I'll put the picture here. It's called Global Art or something. It just seemed a little bit more advanced in the materials and things that you would need to carry out the crafts, more so than what my kids would like to do. This is very much paper crafts, and that is right up my kids' alley. Drawing, coloring, pasting, cutting, gluing. That's their jam. Even my second grader enjoys doing that. So I think this was the better call. And ultimately at the end of this year, now I can absolutely say this was a huge hit in our homeschool. So this is Around the World Art and Activities. And it is broken up by continent, and it's really cute because as it's introducing something, it'll have a little postcard that you can read to your kids, and it's these kids traveling around the world and getting postcards and creating arts and crafts from all the places. It's not colorful in here. It's black and white illustrations, which is totally fine because me as the parent, I'm the one reading it, trying to figure out how to do the art and craft with the kids. But it's well laid out. It's easy to understand. Again, it's all household items that you are going to have, which makes it so much easier and honestly doable. If I don't have the materials to do an art project, the likelihood of me doing it is slim to none. So this made it so that we actually did art this year and we had so much fun doing it. You've seen some of the art projects I've highlighted in my review videos in this series, and you know that we've been having fun with it. So huge thumbs up. Hit it up on thrift books. I saw it used on Amazon. I'm sure it's on Books or Book Outlet or any of them. And frankly, you might just be able to find it at your local thrift store. So definitely get this if you can, but also don't negate the current recommendation she has. It might also be very good and you might like it too, but if your kids are into paper crafts, get this for your year-round study. So next up, normally I will highlight an additional spine that we've brought in from our own personal finds or our library or something, but I didn't have any more additional books that I was bringing into this program. So what I thought was I'd also highlight another one of the spines from Build Your Library. which I'm kind of sad we didn't purchase this one. This is one that we kept getting from the library, and I literally just checked it out every time that I would literally go return it, and then I would immediately check it back out again on my app, and then I would just show back up at the library 2 hours later to go pick it up. I should have just purchased it because my girls loved this book. And I actually am thinking about going ahead and purchasing it, along with, there's a nature poetry version of it. So it's National Geographic Book of Animal Poetry. The poems, the girls really like the poems in this book. 1. 2, the pictures are beautiful. I mean, look at that, y'all. The girls had so much fun with this. They literally could not wait to do poetry this year. I'm actually kind of concerned because our poetry for next year is just normal black and white letters on a book. They might not like it as much. I'll let you know if we have to pivot. If the girls are really bored with the poetry we're going to do next year, I might go ahead and purchase the Nature Anatomy version of, or Nature Anatomy, I'm thinking about Julia Rothman, the nature poetry book version of this. And honestly, I might just go ahead and purchase this because the girls will pull it off the shelf and just look at it and read it. My oldest can read these poems with no issue. So, I mean, how pretty is that? So, highly recommend purchasing this. These aren't terribly expensive either. They're really reasonably priced considering this is big and the hardback. I was actually shocked at how well priced it was. So one regret, I didn't purchase this. I should have. If you can, go ahead and get it yourself. Next up, I wanted to highlight some of the literature that we really liked from this unit that we enjoyed reading. There were a lot of good books included in this one. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Mr. Popper's Penguins. This was one I actually planned to get from the library, but when it came time to check it out, it was completely checked out and there was no way I was going to get it. So thankfully we did get my daughter a Kindle Kids Paperwhite for Christmas, and she got, I think, a free year of Amazon Kids Plus with the purchase. And it just so happened that Mr. Popper's Penguins was in there, so we were able to get it for free, and I was able to read it off the Paperwhite. And I'm telling y'all, I might get one of these Paperwhites. This does not hurt my eyes to read. It's actually quite a joy to read from, so I might ask for this for my birthday maybe this year in October. I don't know. So, okay, enough about me and my Kindle. The book, the girls loved it. I'd actually never read Mr. Popper's Penguins, and I'd heard about it so much, and I was like, ooh, I can't wait to read this with you. And I didn't pre-read it because this is a Newbery Honor book, and I imagine with the content, it wouldn't be anything that I needed to pre-read for a concern perspective or any of that. But yeah, the girls really liked this one. It was a cute adventure with these penguins. So Mr. Popper, he's a painter, and then his dream has always been to go explore the North or the South Pole. He's always wanted to be an explorer, and he reaches out to one of these admirals who is on an exploration in the South Pole. The guy ends up sending him a penguin, and hilarity kind of ensues, but also cuteness, and he trains the penguins and they go and do shows, and ultimately, well, I don't know if I should ruin it. I'm gonna say it. Spoiler alert, pause here if you don't want to know. Ultimately, Mr. Popper at the end gets to go to the North Pole and become an explorer himself with the penguins. So it's kind of just one of those feel-good books. It talks about the penguins, which is one of those main animals in Antarctica, which my girls loved. So really loved it. It was really easy read. It was fun, adventurous, good-hearted, good feelings, all that good stuff. So definitely don't skip on Mr. Popper's Penguins. The next book we read throughout oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, we did this unit, well, it's slated for 3 weeks, but just like Australia and New Zealand, we actually did this one in 2. Again, it didn't feel like we condensed it too much, and we did everything that was on the schedule. So these last 2 units are much lighter. Africa was one that was jam-packed. South America was jam-packed. Like all the other ones, there was a lot going on, and not too much, but like not in a way that I would have felt comfortable condensing them into a shorter period of time. These last 2 units, it didn't hurt us to bring them down, like cut each one by 1 week and bring the material into 2 weeks. Again, that was because we ended up taking off more time at Christmas than I had initially written into our plan. And in order to stay on schedule, to get Build Your Library's prehistory unit started, which will be next week, I needed to cut off 2 weeks. So I condensed these 2 units and it worked out great. We condensed this one and then we condensed the previous one, which was Australia and New Zealand, and it didn't hurt us at all. But so what we read over the 2 weeks was Sophie Scott Goes South. So it's about this little girl and her dad runs a boat, the Aurora Australis, which is the name of the Aurora Borealis, but in the South Pole. And it's a boat that takes people to and from Australia to Antarctica who are, studying or doing whatever they're doing in Africa. Well, most of them are doing some kind of study. But it's cool because it's written like a journal, so like day 7, and it's from the little girl's perspective. It shows real pictures that she took. Well, I think basically this is the author who went on a trip to Antarctica, and she created it as a book. It's like all the little girl's drawings. It was a really fun one. So again, it's one of those that puts my kids in the person's shoes, because it's a little girl who's roughly the same age as mine, and they get to kind of experience what she experienced and get a better sense of Antarctica, the animals that are there, the kind of the treacherousness of living there too. It goes through that, but in like a kid-friendly way, which isn't scary. But we really like this book. We got it from our library and it was a huge hit. So another good one. And last but not least, another one that I was going to talk about is one that we read today, the last day of the program. You only read it on one day. And it's called On the Same Day in March. So it's a day in March. The book opens up and you're starting in one place on Earth in the Arctic, and it talks about the weather going on at that point. And then you go over to in Alberta, Canada, and you learn about what the weather's like in there, and then so on, and you jump over to this place and this place. And I did this in a way that I had the world map behind me on the wall, and I would point. I'd be like, okay, we're here. Now we're going to hop over to Texas Panhandle, from India, and it was, so the girls were able to follow where we were going around the world, and we were able to track the weather in one day. So what is it like here? But it might be monsooning somewhere else while it's sunny here. It kind of gives them perspective of the world and how different and vast it is, but like, it kind of allowed them to just really understand, like, it might be this way here at this moment, but somewhere else on the world, it could be completely different, but specifically to weather. So I thought that was really fun for them. They really liked it. They were really into it, especially I think because I brought in the map behind me as I was holding this up. I'd be like, okay, we went from here. Now we're heading over to, somewhere in China. Now we're down in Australia. So and I think we went to Darwin, Australia. So I think including the map really helps them connect the dots with this. I think if you don't have a visual representation with the map or a globe, I don't know if it would pack the same punch. So that's my recommendation. Include a globe or a map and point out where you're going as you turn the pages from this place to this place. Okay, next I was going to talk about arts and activities and all the other good stuff. So I'm going to highlight one of the art activities we did, and it's supposed to be the ocean is the blue part. It's not working because I'm having to turn all the way this way. If you turn it like this and you rotate it this way, it's icebergs in the ocean moving around. And so it's supposed to be representative of, the icebergs in the water and moving. But the girls, they're saran wrap over here so they can do whatever they want with it. But they actually really like doing this one. Again, easy gluing, cutting, easy things for their age. But they had a lot of fun with that one, and they keep walking around with it and enjoying it. I was gonna try for our movie to watch Happy Feet, but I couldn't find it anywhere for free. And for some reason, I feel like the money to pay on Amazon was kind of more expensive than normal, or maybe I was just being cheap and I didn't want to pay for it. Long story short, we ended up not watching that, but I did find on Disney Plus, they have a series, and one of the series is called Nat Geo Continent 7 Antarctica, and it had a bunch of videos in it. They watched, I think, the first 2 from that. I think they were like 45-minute long episodes. We watched those 2. They seemed to be interested in it, but then I think around the end of episode 2, they were kind of like, we don't want to keep watching this. So I think it was good for a short period of time. I think it would be better for an older learner. But ultimately, we just didn't find anything. We're going to watch Below Zero. It's with Paul Walker. Is that his name? The guy from Fast and the Furious who passed away. He was in a car wreck. He takes a bunch of huskies, but the thing is one of the huskies gets left behind because he's hurt. And we tried to watch this last year and the girls cried. And I was like, okay, so we shut it off. Even though the husky does make it later on, I think they just life update. We just lost our large dog. We've got one dog left, Sage, our large 12-and-a-half-year-old shepherd mix. he passed away a couple, 2 weeks ago at our home unexpectedly. And I think that they just were like, I don't think they could have handled that, watching a movie where a dog might die. So we did not watch that one. I think it's called 8 Below, but I think other people have watched and they really enjoyed it. So if your kids are not going through that and aren't sensitive, that might be a good option for your family. They just couldn't do that at this point. So long story short, we kind of landed on that documentary of Antarctica. It was kind of cool for them to see what Antarctica looked like. But I don't think it was as fun, if that makes sense. But they had a lot of fun watching the videos that were included in this unit. So they got, I think, their fill of screen time when it came to learning about Antarctica and the North Pole. Okay, and last but not least, I'm going to share one of my girls' animal profile pages as well as their passport entries. As a reminder, if you're new here or new to the program, the animal profile page is their science portion of this program. They do animal studies from the different continents and regions, and it's just kind of a precursor to learning about how to do a research paper, but like in a kindergarten level way. So my youngest daughter, she decided to do emperor penguins. She drew a picture of it. She drew fish is what they eat. They're in the tundra. Also, they hop in the ocean, she said. And the sea leopard is their predator. Then on the back, I let the girls always print off a picture of the baby. They went, what do I look like as a baby? So I let them use the computer and print this off, and they thought they were the cutest fluff balls in the world. And then she shaded in where the penguins are found on the map. And then for the passports, my oldest daughter, what did she do? Okay, so she put her little stamp in here that's included in the curriculum you can print off. She drew a polar bear, she drew a penguin, and then she drew a macaroni penguin because she thought they were the funniest looking ones. And then she listed a bunch of penguins, a bunch of animals that are in that area. So penguins, polar bears, Bennett's flying fish, emperor penguin, harp seal, swordfish. I'm not sure what a harp seal is. I'll have to go look that up. And then for my youngest daughter, she drew, there we go, Antarctica, her little stamp. She drew an emperor penguin. She drew a polar bear. Oh, I think that's the truck that drives Sophia Scott across the Antarctica. It's like this little, I don't know how to explain it. It's this vehicle they use to get around Antarctica. And then she also drew Mr. Popper with his penguin. So that's it for Antarctica and the North Pole. Okay, closing thoughts on this year-round study, 30-week program. Yes, it's slated for kindergartners, but my 7, almost 8-year-old absolutely loved this and got so much out of it. I think you could easily bring in up to 4th or 5th graders into this program if you want to do a family study with this, with younger kids and older kids. There's chapter books in it. I think you could also bring in more intense study for the science portion, maybe like bring in a zoology type science for older kids if you're including them. But even just as is, there is so much to this that I would not leave it at just a kindergarten level. So if you've got a 2nd grader and you're thinking about it, definitely pull the trigger. And if you want to add some more supplemental things, you could. She also recommends some stuff. So in the program, 10, 20, 30 thumbs up. Like, we just had so much fun with this. It hit all the right things with my learners at the age, at their interest. They're really into animals. So the science study about learning the different habitats and the animals, about the climates of different places, the cultures, bringing in the book Children Just Like Me, they absolutely loved. And that's what I think Emily Cook did such a good job with most of the literature picks. They're all young children for the most part, not all of them, of course, but a good chunk of them was putting them in the shoes of children living in these different places. And it wasn't just the spine, Children Just Like Me. It was other books, the literature picks, Sophie Scott Goes South, Miss Audrey in the Outback from Australia. Like, she was able to make them imagine what it would be like to live in these different places. So it wasn't just learning, well, where is this place on the map? It was learning the culture. Before we dropped the cooking class, we were cooking different meals from different places. My kids are not that adventurous, so we ended up dropping it, and that's fine. Maybe we'll try it when they're a little older, because she has, actually, that's a great part I was going to recommend. Her level 7 is also another review of geography, but for older kids, of course, level 7, meaning you're in middle school. So if you have a younger kid and an older kid, like they're vastly different in age, maybe get this and then level 7 and kind of do them together at the same time so you can make it like the perfect family study. I think that would be absolutely amazing. And I think I want to try and when the girls are in middle school, go back through and do another year of geography. So like maybe we'll do the level 7 from Build Your Library, because I think she does a really good job of not just making it about physical geography, but she also brought in all the cultures and learning about the habitats, the animals, the people, the climate, everything. So I just think it was really well done. It's a super cohesive program. Nothing feels out of place. Nothing feels forced. It's very organic. I've looked at other geography programs and it felt like some of it was like they were just throwing that in there to, you know, check a box. This felt like it tied very well together for the most part and, you know, put a little bow on it. It was really, really well done. I like the fact that she provides you a weekly schedule, but it's easy to be flexible and move it around. Like I said, we did that with these last 2 units. We combined the 3 weeks into 2 weeks for both units to give us 2 extra weeks. So I like that it's written like, here, this is how you can do it, or you can move it around however you want. I love that there's that flexibility. So really, really, really enjoyed it. I talked to the girls. I was like, did you like this? Like, was this a good year? And they were like screamed yes, like they loved it. But again, now they're very excited to move on to Build Your Library's 6-week unit study. We're going to be doing prehistory starting next Monday. So as sad as we are to say goodbye to Build Your Library, we're going to be saying hello to Build Your Library Prehistory on Monday. So if you guys have any questions about anything I went over in this video and any of my videos, leave it down below. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have or provide my opinion or advice. If you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, y'all.